With the Aviva Premiership season moving towards its climax, there were some crucial results for sides at both ends of the table in round 18. The East Midlands derby was the standout fixture ahead of the weekend, but intriguing games in Bath and Newcastle, as well as two London derbies, made for an exciting weekend of action. The Rec played host to high-flying Sale Sharks, who were dealt two blows before kick-off with Mark Cueto and captain Dan Braid injured during the warm-ups. The opening exchanges were characterised by physical play by both sides. Matt Garvey's high tackle resulted in a penalty for Sharks, which Danny Cipriani duly converted. In difficult conditions, both sides struggled to make any headway, with just 3 points in the game at half-time after a George Ford penalty. The conditions were making life difficult for the kickers, with Ford unable to reduce his side's arrears from the tee. Bath did finally manage to breach the Sharks' try line with 6 minutes left to play, Ross Batty diving over to bring Bath within 1 point. But again, Ford's conversion attempt sailed wide, a kick which would have given them the lead. In the dying seconds, Bath fed the ball to Ford for a drop goal attempt. But once again, he could not find the posts. Agony for the hosts, with Sale muscling their way into top four contention. Exeter faced Gloucester at Sandy Park, 2 weeks after their Anglo-Welsh Cup triumph on the same ground. They took hold of the match just after the half-hour mark, Matt Jess profiting after a flowing move from his side and finishing strongly. Chiefs took their lead into the break, but were behind early on in the second period after Rob Cook dispatched this penalty. And 2 minutes later, the Cherry and Whites extended their advantage. Charlie Sharples the try scorer after some pacey build-up. There was late drama though, the hosts looking for a converted try to win the match. With Gloucester down to 13 men, Don Armand piled over the try line to make the scores 13-14. The game rested on a successful conversion, but Gareth Steenson saw his kick fly agonisingly wide, handing the match to the visitors. Last year's Premiership finalists met at the Gardens, with Tigers hoping to maintain their recent return to form. There was controversy early on, as referee Wayne Barnes called for the TMO after an alleged bite, although the replays revealed nothing conclusive.
Let's really keep a hold of this discipline. It's a scrum, I thought it came up on the marks. Look, Grease, white ball, okay?
Just 1 minute later, Leicester seized the initiative, as Ben Youngs fed Anthony Allen, who drove over for the first try of the match. With speculation surrounding who Richard Cockrell will pick at fly half next season, Owen Williams furthered his cause, slotting a succession of kicks, and with this effort giving the visitors a 10-point lead. But before half-time, the Saints were brought back into the contest as Khan Fotualihi darted over the try line. The boot of Williams kept the scoreboard ticking for Leicester though. His sixth successful kick opened up an 11-point lead. The final minutes produced dramatic scenes as Ben Young saw yellow after halting George North illegally. His side down to 13 men 2 minutes later when Nicky Gonover joined him in the bin. Ethan Wallace stole through for a late try for his side, but it was only enough to earn the Saints a losing bonus point. Quins welcomed back the England trio of Kerr, Robshaw and Brown, and were almost behind in the opening seconds, but Irish were unable to convert this early attack. The hosts took the lead on the 11th minute, a moment of magic from Kiwi Nick Evans, chipping over and gathering under the sticks. His Southern Hemisphere counterpart James O'Connor was having a good day with the boot though, slotting this kick on the stroke of half-time to leave the side separated by a solitary point. Marlon Yard will be trotting out at the stoop for Quins next season, but had to spend 10 minutes in the sin bin after this illegal tackle. Evans dispatched the resultant penalty and the hosts never looked back. Two late tries from Sam Smith and then Mike Brown gave Quins the platform to chase down a try bonus point. But it was not to be for Conor O'Shea's men, who still have top four ambitions.
I think the dressing room was pretty frustrated because we just didn't hold on to the ball long enough. We had all the territory possession, you know, in terms of the match, and it was a match that because we just couldn't get away. And there was a lot of penalties. The breakdown was a mess. But I said to the guys, you know, you can't be arrogant to talk about, you know, not accepting a win as a win in the Premiership. You'll take any win. You can't be arrogant like that. But felt there was so much more there for us if we had been more accurate, and we just weren't accurate enough on the day.
The second All-London fixture took place at Adams Park, with the league leaders looking to consolidate their hold on the Premiership table. Jackson Ray got the Sarries try account opened on 13 minutes, with Charlie Hodgson adding the extras. Opposite number Andy Good was having a tough afternoon from the kicking tee, striking the post with 2 separate efforts. Good did finally notch a penalty when Moritz Botha went to the bin, and the Chris Ashton error let Jonah Holmes in to give Wasps hope. Both sides notched a further try each, but it was Alex Good who began to stretch the visitors' lead, brilliantly picking his way through the Wasps' defence in the 52nd minute. With Wasps replacement Sam Jones sent to the bin with 5 minutes left on the watch, Jamie George went over for his second try of the afternoon. The hosts did manage a late consolation effort from Carlo Festuccia, but it wasn't enough to turn the tide, with Saracens taking all 5 points back to Allianz Park. The final encounter of the round could not be more important for Worcester, who knew defeat would mean almost certain relegation. The sides played out a nervy first half that was dominated by the kickers, Phil Godman notching 3 successful efforts from the tee. Ryan Lamb had the chance to even the scores up, but saw his kick cannon off the upright. Lamb did find his kicking boots eventually, this effort levelling the scores at 12-all. The game sparked life with 10 minutes left as Andy Simmons moved through the gears and bust a hole in the Falcons' defence before a timely offload to Josh Brown-Anu. Dean Ryan gave frantic last-second instructions to kick the ball out of play, and with that, Worcester claimed their first victory of the season. It could be too little too late for the Warriors, but they take hope into round 19 of an unlikely reprieve. Going into a week's break for European fixtures, there is still all to play for in the table. Sarries look to be pulling clear in first, but the race for the top 4 has been bust wide open after wins for Tigers and Sharks. Quins remain on the heels of the top 5 after victory over Irish, but face an away trip to Sale in the next round that could prove crucial for both clubs. Wasps head up to the midfield bunch, trailed closely by Chiefs and Gloucester. Worcester finally have a Premiership win this season, but still remain in deep trouble at the foot of the table. Newcastle fans will be nervously eyeing the 9-point gap and are hoping they can ride out the rest of the season above the Warriors. So for all the latest Premiership news, head to the official YouTube channel or visit premiershiprugby.tv.